All right, guys. Sorry about the pause there. I didn't know if it had started. A couple things. Right off the jump, I know that I am super animated, so every time I do a hand movement, I was noticing that the video was coming in and out and kind of, doing a little bit of a readjust. I'm not completely sure if there's a setting on this webcam that I just got in order to be able to change that. I'm guessing it's probably like an autofocus or something of that nature, but I'm not going to worry about that right now, and I'm going to tell you why. It kind of goes along the same lines of what I was talking about with not making sure that everything's perfect. Another thing is I've noticed that my face is a little dark because I told you I don't have studio lights set up on this particular rig here, but I noticed that my face is a little dark. So the other thing is I'm going to need to get lights. So I'm either going to need to change my camera into a professional camera, or I'm also going to need to get some professional lights. So those are two things just right off the jump that I wanted to talk to you about. Is don't wait until everything's perfect, because if you do, you'll never get it done. It's the same thing with buying a house, having kids, all that kind of stuff. Now, I want you to know I'm not telling you to go out there and have kids when you're 15 and 16, but once you get married and you are in a fairly good spot. I mean, I'm hoping that you wait to get married when you are in a good spot. If that's the case, then you're fine. But buying a house and having kids and all that kind of stuff, if you wait to the perfect time, there's really never a perfect time for anything. So just kind of take those couple things, right off the jump. Then I wanted to talk to you about getting off your butts. And what I mean by getting off your butts is BUTS, okay? But I can't, but this, but that. Getting off your butt, your BUTT is important to get moving and, just get active and all that kind of stuff. Just activity in any way, shape, or form. I mean, if you think about the Think and Grow Rich secret, it's action. So the reason I bring that up, and one of the things that's kind of got me a jolt, and why I think it's so important to talk about this, for a couple seconds, is I was fortunate enough to hear the Iron Cowboy at a recent uh, conference that I was at, and one of the things that he was talking about was when he would feel like it was a moment when he couldn't go any farther. A family member would talk to him. He was, running a race with a young man that had cerebral palsy, that couldn't run, that couldn't swim, that couldn't do the bike, but he was able to fill in for him and pull him in the boat. Push him in the run, and pull him in the bike. And so because he couldn't, he did it for him. And so another thing was biking up a mountain. He was trying to convince himself that inner bad voice that you have, that we all have, was telling him that there's no way I can do this. And then he got to a certain part of the mountain, and there were veterans there, some of them with one leg, that had prosthetic limbs. And of course, he got that jolt. And that jolt, hopefully today, I'm giving you one. They talk about meetings and conventions and things like that, and they say that sometimes they need you and sometimes you need them. And in this case, I'm hoping that I am giving you that jolt, because if you don't get off your butt, your BUT, you're going to find an excuse. Okay. So you either find a way or find an excuse. And so I'm thinking about all the crazy things that's going on in my life right now. Not only am I going through and doing all the client work that I do, which is, two different full time podcasts, um, uh, going and having done those podcasts for this week will be 246 weeks in a row. That's my longest one, and never missed a week. But in doing that, the last couple of years, as I mentioned on a previous podcast, I've I have uh, stopped treating myself as a client. And I never really had myself as a client, but I stopped doing work for myself in the way of doing these daily videos, going through and watching my weight and my health. A myriad of things. I'm not going to name all the different shortcomings. They're too long to list. But the thing that you need to know is it's easy to do and easy not to do. Okay, so and hello, Robert. I saw your message. Put you on the screen here for a second. I'm going to take this off and put Robert on. There we go, and move you down. Sorry, guys. I like to recognize my brothers in arms and sisters in arms that pop on. You're right, brother. Nobody's perfect. But anyway, the message that I want to give you is that you need to treat yourself as a client and treat yourself as a part of your job. So regardless of what your job is, I work at home, so I have a little bit more flexibility, freedom, autonomy that most people do. But let's say that you're doing a traditional job and you're away from your house 8-10 hours if you have a large commute. Think of the time when you get home or before you go to work, or instead of going and doing a bowling league or softball, or sitting down and watching a TV show that you've seen already, or a movie you've already watched, or turning on ESPN. I'm not a sports guy, but think about what you have that needs to be done and just do it. Don't put it off. All right. Treat yourself as a client per se, and just get it done. Get off your butt. Your butt is always going to be wrong. Okay. Listen to your heart. Listen to your the things that you're supposed to do. Don't listen to that little voice in your head. Just like the Iron Cowboy, was on that mountain and saw that veteran with the missing leg. He all of a sudden was like instantly inspired. Okay, that he had more in the tank than what he thought. Okay, and how could he say, my leg hurts when they don't have one? Okay, so that's the thing that you want to think about is getting off that butt. And I have all my client work that's going on. I have 3 different books, that I'm in the process of writing that are also going to turn at least 2 of them, if not 3, into a series. Which, by the way, one of those is going to be The Closers, number 6. I'm writing that with my absolute awesome friends, Randy Chafee, that I do one of my podcasts with, Building Wins Live, and the great Bengay III. If you guys don't know Bengay is just the quintessential awesome living legend. He used to carry the pump for Zig Ziglar, come up with Zig Ziglar. His posse, if you will, was Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale, Paul Harvey. People that would just absolutely blow your mind. They were the people that he come up with and that he knew, that he was friends with, worked with closely. And today is his birthday. So, Ben, I absolutely love you, my friend. Happy birthday. I hope that we're here to celebrate an absolute, bunch more. Zig is awesome. I agree. Robert, I love him as well. Miss him. Used to see him on the Peter Lowe Get Motivated tours. And, Ben, it's his birthday. And like I said, he and Gigi, his beautiful wife, are just the most giving and loving people that you could ever imagine. If you don't know Bengay, get a copy of The Closers because he is, and get several copies, give them away. There's several in the series, and Randy and I are going to be writing the sixth one. And it's going to be about trade shows. And hopefully that is a hit. And Ben asks if we could do another one. Um, yeah. I mean, we lost an amazing guy with him, with Zig. But it was funny because when those two met, Ben said his name was Ben Gay the Third, and somebody cracked off in the background and said, "What kind of a name is that?" And it was Zig, Zig Ziglar, who had an equally crazy name. But so I'm writing those three books, and I want to get Robert's post here because it's important to interrupt here for a second. You can get everything you want in life. Just help others get what they want has been a mantra for decades, and it could not be more true, guys. It's just something that giving is super important. But so anyway, we got those books that are in the mix. Putting together just all sorts of stuff, just kind of jump back into the network marketing arena. And with that one, guys, I'm going to tell you that I want you to get a hold of me and talk to me about it. And I don't care if you're in one, unless you have got a team that is the most rock solid team in the world and it's bringing in untold fortunes, you need to talk to me. Everyone else, if that's not the case, you need to talk to me. If you think that it's something that you have not wanted to do because it's one of those things, or you have some notion about network marketing, I'm here to tell you that number one, it's an awesome additional stream of income that you can add, because as I was just talking to you, it's not by any means the main thing that I do. It is secondary, tertiary to the many other things. However, I have no doubt in my mind that as time goes on, it's going to creep into being the top thing. The company that I'm involved in, and I'm not going to say it on the broadcast, but they've been around for 17 months. I've been in it for 14 months, and actually probably 15 months, and didn't say a word. You guys haven't heard me talk about it. I've talked to quite literally a handful of people about it, and not in any way, shape, or form pushy, in talking about it. But I waited on purpose, and the reason being is because I wanted to make sure that it was going to stick around. It's not only stuck around, but it has done over $100 million in the 17 months that it's been around, which is a very short 17 months. All of the products that you can take internally, which is the only kind that is listed in this, are in the PDR.net, which is the physician's desk reference. Not easy for a stutterer to say. And that's probably very, 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 very unheard of. I don't think any other company has all their products in the PDR. And if all that wasn't enough, if you remember the movie The Social Network, they were talking about the name of the Facebook, and the Justin Timberlake was playing the role of Sean Parker, the co-founder of Napster. And he said, $1 million isn't cool. You know what it is? $1 billion. And this company is poised to be $1 billion industry. It's got things that you just can't imagine. And it's one that you really, really, really need to talk to me about, because I really think, in my own humble opinion, that it's going to be something that when you hear about it in the future, you're going to say, man, I wish I had known about that. I'm not trying to give you a fear of missing out. I'm just telling you there's something about this one. So I had kind of swore it off. I've been doing network marketing since 1987, and I have had really great success and horrible failures with it. It's a very, very fickle industry, but it's something that I feel is, again, just got something. So keep that one in mind. But I've got that going on. And then, yeah, so I've got all these different things, and it's very, very easy to talk about, a situation where you want to complain and get on that butt. But I'm telling you, get off of it and do the other part of what this message says, and that is get to instead of have to. Because in addition to all the stuff that I just mentioned, and there's actually more, which is insane, but if all, and I'm a dad, so I've got two college kids that live at home. They're not empty. I'm not an empty nest situation. I've got, two kids at the house. I've got, beautiful wife, and, we're busy. But at the same time, we get to do stuff, not have to do stuff. And it really links back to that Iron Cowboy thing I was telling you about as well. Being that you don't, if you say I have to go do something, it is not nearly as powerful as get to do something, because that young man that the Iron Cowboy was pulling and pushing around in the Iron Man, he could have said I have to do it, but he gets to do it because that young man can't do it, not on his own. Not on his own. Okay, he would have had to have help in some way, shape, or form. So when you think about that and you internalize that, especially when it comes to being judgmental about what someone's got going on in their life, you might look at them and think, man, that person's a Karen, or, whatever. I mean, insert your judgment here. When you think about someone and you make that rash judgment or a situation and you go off half cocked, you're going to find that if you were to talk to that person and find out what was going on that was causing them to be that way, or find out that they are disabled, or that they have one leg, or whatever the case may be, you name it. There's people with no legs that run races, that have two prosthetic limbs, and do the bike portion with their hands, and things like that, so you have to ask yourself, what's your excuse? Okay. And so when you got those, two things on your shoulder, you got a devil over here and you got an angel over here, and one's whispering positive stuff in your head and the other one's whispering in the negativity and the, you can't do this, and feeding you your butt statements. Just, flick them off your shoulder and listen to that angel, listen to your heart. Don't listen to your butt, and, realize that, as an example, years ago, I remember getting a over $1,000 vet bill, and telling somebody I get to pay this. And what I meant was, number one, my dog was still alive. Okay. Number two, I had the money to do it. Okay. Number three, I had the car that was allowing me to take the dog to and from the vet, and it was full of gas and was running good. I have a home that we lived in that's paid for. So all the different things that you take for granted, when you're thinking and feeling bad for yourself, you need to realize that you get to do stuff, not that you have to do stuff. Two conferences ago, it wasn't the Iron Cowboy, it was the great Les Brown that we had at our conference. First conference, Les Brown. How amazing is that? And Les said, something that, he says many times. I've seen him many times over the years. And he said it's better to be seen than to be viewed. And, this weekend, we're doing a celebration of life for my father-in-law, and we miss him, horribly. And so, yet another thing that we're doing, that I'm creating a slideshow, behind the scenes as we speak, for it. And, you get to be with that person, not, oh, I have to go over and do this. I have to go over and do that. I have to, drive and see them or whatever. When they're not around any longer, the feeling is you go from I have to man, I wish I could. I wish I could get to. Okay, so really, really internalize that, because the things that you do, and I want to bring up Les for just 1 second. I wrote him weeks and months before I was going to the convention a couple years ago, or last year, I should say, and he didn't get back with me, and the reason why is because he's Les Brown and I'm Wes Wyatt. So I wrote him several times, wrote his people several times, didn't get a message back, and so I what I said was, as you can see behind me, I'm an avid reader. I love to read, I love to learn, and this is a very tiny section of all the books that I have. There's a lot more up and down and over and around. But I love learning and taking in information. And so all I wanted to do was thank him, for all the years. And so when we got to the convention, I was talking to my buddy and finding out where the room was that we were staying at. And when I got off the elevator, I literally bumped into Les. And I don't mean figuratively. I mean literally. Turned around and back to back with Les Brown. I turned around and I said, Les Brown. And he goes, what's your name? And I said, Wes Wyatt. And he goes, my brother's name, Wes. And he goes, what do you do? And just asked me a couple very quick questions. I told him, and I asked him, I said, Les, would you care if I got a picture with you? He said, absolutely not. Snapped a picture with him, and he went on his way. But, I feel like I manifested that because, it was so wacky of a coincidence. Exactly. Man, I'll tell you, you and I are simpatico here, Robert. But anyway, what I wanted to get at just was those two things primarily, and that is the getting off your butt, your BUT, and having that get to versus the have to attitude. Because guys, I'm going to tell you something. I love my beloved oxygen habit. And when that goes, I go. Okay. And so as long as I'm drawing breath in, I'm not retiring. As long as I'm drawing breath in, I'm going to be the positive person, that you see in front of you. If you look at this, it's a dynamite lamp. It's because I tell everybody to have a dynamite day, and the dynamite day is just an expression of that explosion, that fuse that leads you through life. Okay, and you can choose to, have a long one. You can choose to have a short one. You can cut it, in certain places and make it longer. You can, stamp it out, cut it, and let it burn, whatever. But when it's done, you're done. Okay. And you want to think about that explosion, that impact, that you make in life. And so that's where the have a dynamite day mantra come from. And so I just hope that this message found you in a place where you're able to go out there, get off your butt, live in a get to, not have to mentality, and most of all, have a dynamite day. I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye bye.